Charles Leclerc is a Formula One driver from Monaco, currently racing for Scuderia Ferrari. Born on October 16, 1997, he quickly became known for his exceptional talent and speed. Leclerc's path to Formula One started in karting, where he displayed incredible skill and went on to win multiple championships, including the Karting World Championship in 2013. His professional career took off in 2016 when he joined the Ferrari Driver Academy, which paved the way for his Formula 2 debut in 2017. In F2, Leclerc won the championship in his rookie season, showcasing his potential as a future star. This triumph earned him a seat in Formula One with Sauber in 2018. Even in a less competitive car, Leclerc impressed the paddock with consistent performances, and by 2019, he was promoted to Ferrari, replacing Kimi Räikkönen. Leclerc's first year at Ferrari saw him secure 2 race wins, Belgium and Italy, and several pole positions. Notably, his victory at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza solidified his status as a fan favorite, as he became the first Ferrari driver to win at Monza since 2010. His rivalry with teammate Sebastian Vettel created a new dynamic within Ferrari, where Leclerc was often seen as the future of the team. Despite challenges in subsequent seasons, including the team's struggle with competitiveness in 2020 and 2021, Leclerc has continued to demonstrate his abilities. His talent in qualifying, often outperforming his car, has been particularly noteworthy. In 2022, he started the season strong, challenging for the championship early on but ultimately finishing second to Max Verstappen. In 2024, Leclerc continues to be one of Ferrari's main hopes, constantly fighting at the front of the grid. Charles Leclerc was born into a family with deep ties to motorsport, which shaped his early aspirations and passion for racing. He was born on October 16, 1997, in Monaco, a small but affluent city-state famous for its luxury, glitz, and, crucially for Leclerc, its iconic Formula One street circuit. Growing up in Monaco meant that motorsport was not just a hobby or passing interest but a cultural institution. The Monaco Grand Prix, with its historic roots and challenging circuit, stood as a beacon of inspiration for young Charles, who would grow up watching the world's best drivers race right in his backyard. His father, Hervé Leclerc, played a critical role in nurturing Charles's love for racing. Hervé himself was a passionate racer who competed in Formula 3, although he never made it to the heights of Formula 1. However, his love for motorsport never dimmed, and he passed that passion to his son. Hervé's experience and understanding of the racing world gave young Charles both the technical knowledge and emotional support he needed to begin karting at a young age. Charles often spoke about his father's guidance, recounting how Hervé would take him to karting tracks and instill in him the values of hard work and perseverance. This father-son bond was foundational to Charles's development, both as a racer and as a person. A particularly influential figure in Charles's life was his godfather, Jules Bianchi, a talented driver who was also part of the Ferrari Driver Academy. Bianchi, tragically, was involved in a fatal accident at the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, and his passing deeply impacted Charles. Yet, Jules' influence on Charles was profound and enduring. Bianchi had risen through the racing ranks with considerable talent, and his mentorship offered young Charles both an example to aspire to and a close personal connection to the world of professional racing. Jules often offered advice and encouragement to Charles, helping him navigate the early stages of his career. Charles has frequently mentioned how he races in part to honor Bianchi's memory, feeling driven to fulfill the dreams that his godfather could not complete. Monaco, where Leclerc was raised, provided not only a glamorous backdrop but also a unique racing environment. The proximity of the Formula One Grand Prix every year made the sport part of his childhood scenery. The narrow streets and the electrifying atmosphere of the Monaco GP left a mark on him early on. It is hard to overstate the importance of growing up in a place where racing is celebrated in such a grand manner, with its rich motorsport culture. Monaco continuously inspired Leclerc to pursue racing as more than just a hobby but a potential career. Moreover, the financial realities of racing, particularly karting, were challenging even for someone from Monaco. Though the city itself is synonymous with wealth, Leclerc's family was not among the ultra-elite. Hervé and the family made significant sacrifices to support Charles's early racing ambitions, with Hervé often struggling to fund Charles's karting career. In interviews, Charles has recounted how his father worked tirelessly to ensure he had the opportunity to compete, a reality that instilled in him both gratitude and determination. This struggle forged in Charles a tenacity that would later prove invaluable as he climbed the ladder to Formula One. In sum, Charles Leclerc's early life was steeped in motorsport, with his family providing the emotional and practical foundation for his eventual success. His father's own racing background and sacrifices were key to igniting Charles's dreams, while his godfather Jules Bianchi's mentorship and tragic death fueled his drive to succeed at the highest level. Growing up in Monaco, a place synonymous with racing excellence, further entrenched his desire to make it in Formula One, shaping the boy from Monte Carlo into the racing sensation he is today. Charles Leclerc's journey into professional motorsport truly began with his karting career, where he quickly established himself as a formidable talent. Racing came naturally to him, but his early years were not without challenges. He started karting at the age of 5 on the Brignoles track, owned by the family of his godfather, Jules Bianchi. This connection not only provided a place for Charles to hone his skills, but also gave him a direct view of what it took to compete at the highest levels. From the start, Leclerc's ability to control a kart and his racecraft stood out among his peers. Karting is where the building blocks of every successful racing career are laid, and Leclerc's story was no different. He began competing in local and national karting competitions, showing exceptional speed and a natural understanding of race strategy. His father, Hervé Leclerc, and godfather, Jules, provided guidance, but as with many young drivers, funding was a persistent issue. Unlike many of his competitors who had substantial financial backing, Charles and his family faced significant financial constraints, which added pressure to perform consistently to attract sponsorships and opportunities. Leclerc's breakthrough in karting came in 2009 when he won the French PACA Championship. From there, his career skyrocketed. He competed in the CIK FIA Karting European Championship, where he raced against future Formula One competitors like Max Verstappen. In 2011, he became the champion in the KF3 category of the WSK Euro Series, and he followed it up with a win in the CIK FIA World Cup in 2012. These victories solidified his reputation as one of the brightest talents in the karting world. As his success grew, so did the opportunities, but also the pressure. Karting is known for its intense competition and high costs, and the financial strain on his family became more apparent. Charles has openly talked about how his father struggled to keep him racing, at times pushing them to the edge of what they could afford. These experiences, far from discouraging him, shaped Leclerc's tenacity and determination to make the most of every race opportunity. He learned early on that every race counted, and that failure was not an option if he wanted to continue pursuing his dream. Despite the challenges, Charles's raw talent could not be overlooked. By the time he was ready to transition into single-seaters, he had already developed a reputation as a driver to watch. His karting career culminated in a second-place finish in the 2013 CIK FIA World KZ Championship, a senior karting category, where he competed against some of the most skilled karters in the world. This result marked the end of his karting days and opened the door to Formula racing, where he would face new challenges but also continue his rapid ascent through the motorsport ranks. Leclerc's karting career was the proving ground for the traits that would define him as a driver: speed, intelligence, and a fierce will to win. It was also a time that solidified his deep connection to his family and to Jules Bianchi, whose mentorship continued to shape his career. Charles Leclerc's story took a deeply personal and emotional turn with the tragic loss of his godfather, Jules Bianchi, in 2015. Bianchi, a rising star in Formula One, had been severely injured in a crash at the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, where he suffered a traumatic brain injury after colliding with a recovery vehicle on a wet track. He remained in a coma for several months before passing away in July 2015, becoming the first Formula One driver to die as a result of an accident during a Grand Prix since Ayrton Senna in 1994. For Charles, Jules Bianchi was more than just a family friend. He was a mentor, an older brother figure, and an inspiration. Jules' journey to Formula One showed Charles the path he needed to follow and, more importantly, what it took to succeed. The bond between the two was incredibly strong, and Charles often credits Bianchi for helping shape his career and pushing him to dream big. Jules was already paving the way in F1 as a Ferrari Academy driver, showing that someone from a small country like Monaco could break into the world of top-tier motorsports. Jules' loss was not just a personal blow to Charles, but also a devastating reminder of the inherent dangers of the sport. At just 17 years old, Charles had to grapple with the loss of his godfather while continuing his racing career, which was already beginning to gather momentum. This period of his life tested not only his resilience but also his passion for the sport. Charles admitted that Bianchi's passing deeply affected him, but rather than deterring him, it strengthened his resolve to succeed in Formula One. In many ways, he felt that he was carrying Jules' legacy forward, with his own career becoming an extension of the dreams Bianchi had begun to realize. The tragic circumstances surrounding Bianchi's death gave Charles a renewed sense of purpose and an almost spiritual motivation to achieve the pinnacle of motorsport. Leclerc would later say that he races in Jules' honor, carrying his memory into every corner of every circuit he drives. This connection remained a driving force for Charles throughout the difficult moments of his career, and it also helped him mature at a very young age. Rather than succumbing to the weight of this loss, Charles used it as a source of strength, often reflecting on what Jules would have advised him to do in challenging situations. In addition to losing Bianchi, Charles also faced another heartbreaking tragedy when his father, Hervé Leclerc, passed away in 2017. Hervé had been instrumental in supporting Charles's early racing career, often sacrificing everything to ensure his son could continue competing. His death came just days before one of Charles's most important races in Formula 2, but, once again, Leclerc found the inner strength to push forward. He honored his father by winning the F2 feature race in Baku just days after his passing. It was a deeply emotional victory, symbolizing Charles's determination to honor both his father's and Bianchi's legacies. These two tragic losses profoundly shaped Charles Leclerc's character, molding him into a driver with an exceptional emotional fortitude. The weight of carrying the memories of both his father and godfather propelled him toward success, with the belief that their legacies would live on through his achievements. By the time he reached Formula One, Leclerc was not just racing for himself, he was racing for the people who had helped him get there, but could no longer witness his rise. This resilience in the face of personal tragedy has become a defining aspect of Charles Leclerc's journey. He often speaks of how these experiences gave him a unique perspective, teaching him to embrace every moment on the track and approach each race with a relentless drive to succeed, not just for himself, but for those he lost along the way. In 2016, Charles Leclerc's career took a significant leap forward when he joined the prestigious Ferrari Driver Academy, a program designed to nurture young talents and prepare them for the rigors of Formula One. The FDA had produced several notable drivers, and for Leclerc, being a part of this academy was not only an honor but also a critical step toward his ultimate dream of racing for Ferrari. Leclerc's entry into the Ferrari Driver Academy was the result of his consistent performances in junior categories, which had caught the attention of Ferrari's talent scouts. The academy provided him with the resources, training, and mentorship that would sharpen his skills, both technically and mentally. His time in the FDA was particularly shaped by his relationships with key figures such as Massimo Rivola, the then head of the Ferrari Driver Academy, and Jules Bianchi, his godfather and a former FDA driver himself. Leclerc was deeply motivated by Bianchi's success in the same system and felt a personal responsibility to follow in his footsteps. The FDA was not just about honing driving skills, it was a complete program designed to prepare drivers for every aspect of Formula One, from fitness to media handling, and, most importantly, the technical intricacies of driving at the highest level. For Leclerc, the academy provided access to Ferrari's cutting-edge simulators and the expertise of some of the best engineers in motorsport. His technical understanding grew rapidly during this time, and his ability to provide insightful feedback on car setups became one of his defining traits, something that would serve him well in later years at Ferrari. Leclerc's time in the FDA coincided with his meteoric rise through the junior formulas. In 2016, while still a Ferrari Academy driver, Leclerc competed in GP3 with Art Grand Prix, one of the top teams in the series. Despite it being his first year in the category, Leclerc dominated the season, winning the championship with 2 races to spare. His performances in GP3 confirmed that he was not just a promising talent but a future star, consistently outperforming more experienced competitors. Following his GP3 triumph, Leclerc was promoted to Formula 2, F2, in 2017 with Prema Racing, a top-tier team in the category. His transition to F2 was seamless, and from the very beginning, he established himself as the driver to beat. Leclerc's technical prowess, particularly his ability to manage tire degradation and his racecraft, were clear indicators of a driver mature beyond his years. He displayed a remarkable ability to perform under pressure, securing multiple pole positions and dominating races, even when starting from lower positions on the grid. His consistency and dominance in F2 were unmatched, and he became the first driver to win the F2 championship in his rookie season, a feat that had only been accomplished by a few before him. Leclerc's Formula 2 championship victory in 2017 was a pivotal moment in his career, solidifying his reputation as one of the most talented young drivers of his generation. Winning the championship in such dominant fashion, with 7 wins and 8 pole positions, sent a clear message to the motorsport world that Leclerc was ready for Formula One. His ability to handle high-pressure situations, his technical understanding of the car, and his sheer speed made it impossible for Ferrari to ignore him any longer. For Leclerc, this victory was not just a personal milestone but also a significant moment for his family. The triumph came shortly after the passing of his father, Hervé Leclerc, making it an emotionally charged achievement. Charles dedicated his F2 title to his father, who had supported him throughout his career. The F2 championship opened the door for Leclerc's next big move, a seat in Formula One. Ferrari's junior team, Sauber, signed him for the 2018 season, marking the beginning of his F1 career. His performances in F2 had set high expectations, and his entry into Formula One was viewed as the next natural step in what was already shaping up to be a remarkable career. In summary, Leclerc's time in the Ferrari Driver Academy was instrumental in his development, allowing him to refine his technical abilities and rise rapidly through the junior categories. His dominant win in the 2017 Formula 2 championship was not only a testament to his talent, but also the defining moment that secured his place in Formula One, setting the stage for his future with Ferrari. Charles Leclerc's 2018 debut season with Sauber marked the arrival of a new star in Formula One. Despite driving for a team that was far from the front of the grid, Leclerc made a significant impact, showcasing not just his natural speed but also his maturity and technical understanding of the sport. For a young driver debuting in Formula One, the pressure was immense, particularly as he was already touted as Ferrari's next big hope. Yet, Leclerc handled the weight of expectations with an impressive blend of confidence, resilience, and skill. Leclerc joined Sauber, a team that had been struggling at the back of the grid for several seasons, but the team's newly formed technical partnership with Ferrari gave them a competitive boost in 2018. Even so, Sauber was still not expected to challenge the top teams. Leclerc, in his rookie season, was tasked with learning the complexities of Formula One while driving a car that was not capable of regularly competing for podiums or victories. Yet, from the very beginning, he displayed remarkable adaptability and skill, often outperforming his more experienced teammate, Marcus Ericsson. The technical challenges of F1 are notoriously steep for rookies. Managing tire wear, fuel loads, and complex car setups, all while competing at breakneck speeds against the best drivers in the world, can overwhelm even the most talented young drivers. But Leclerc's background in karting and his rapid rise through the junior ranks had equipped him with a high level of technical awareness. He quickly mastered the nuances of the car and provided valuable feedback to the team, helping Sauber develop throughout the season. His driving style was not only aggressive but also controlled, earning him praise for his ability to manage difficult races and extract every ounce of performance from his car. One of Leclerc's standout performances came at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where he finished a remarkable sixth place. This result was Sauber's best finish in years and signaled that Leclerc had the potential to not just compete but excel, even in less than ideal circumstances. His ability to perform on street circuits, which require high levels of precision and bravery, impressed the paddock. Over the course of the season, he consistently finished in the points, far exceeding the expectations placed on both him and the team. Another notable race was the Austrian Grand Prix, where Leclerc fought hard in the midfield and displayed his tenacity in wheel-to-wheel battles. His consistency and focus were evident as he regularly placed his Sauber in positions it arguably did not belong. By the end of the season, Leclerc had finished in the points on multiple occasions and outqualified his teammate in most of the races, further solidifying his reputation as a rising star. One of the defining aspects of Leclerc's 2018 season was the added pressure of being Ferrari's next great hope. As a product of the Ferrari Driver Academy, his every move was scrutinized, with many wondering if he could live up to the legacy of Ferrari drivers before him. Driving for Sauber, which had a technical partnership with Ferrari, allowed Leclerc to work closely with the Italian team, giving him a taste of what was to come. The pressure to succeed was immense, but Leclerc took it in stride, showing incredible maturity for someone in his debut season. His performances did not go unnoticed by Ferrari, and it became clear early in the season that Leclerc was destined for a seat with the Scuderia. Despite being aware that he was auditioning for one of the most coveted seats in motorsport, Leclerc remained focused on his job with Sauber, displaying humility and a strong work ethic. By the end of the 2018 season, his performances had convinced Ferrari to promote him to their main team for the 2019 season, replacing the experienced Kimi Räikkönen. Leclerc's debut season with Sauber was a testament to his raw talent, technical understanding, and ability to handle pressure. Finishing 13th in the championship and scoring 39 points, he outperformed not only his teammate but also several drivers in much more competitive machinery. His ability to overdeliver in a midfield car highlighted his future potential, making him one of the most talked-about rookies in recent years. In summary, Leclerc's 2018 season was not just about learning the ropes, it was about showcasing that he had the makings of a future world champion. His consistent ability to push the limits of the Sauber car and his calm demeanor under intense pressure were clear signs that he was ready for Ferrari and ready to fight at the very top of Formula One. In 2019, Charles Leclerc made the monumental leap to Scuderia Ferrari, becoming their youngest driver since 1961, at just 21 years old. His arrival at Ferrari marked a pivotal moment, not just for his career but for the team's future. Ferrari had placed enormous trust in him by giving him a seat alongside Sebastian Vettel, a four-time world champion. This move signified Ferrari's intent to build for the future, and Leclerc was seen as the potential future face of the team, replacing the more experienced Kimi Räikkönen. Leclerc's promotion to Ferrari was groundbreaking. The last time Ferrari had entrusted a driver so young with a full-time seat was in 1961, when Ricardo Rodriguez, also 21, raced for the team. Leclerc's rapid rise from a rookie at Sauber to a driver at one of the most prestigious teams in Formula One history was an enormous step. The weight of Ferrari's legacy, with its passionate fan base and the pressure to bring glory to the team, was something Leclerc had to navigate while continuing his development as a young driver. Ferrari's decision to promote Leclerc reflected their confidence in his abilities, following his exceptional debut season with Sauber in 2018. The 2019 Ferrari car, while competitive, faced challenges compared to Mercedes, the dominant team of the era. However, Leclerc quickly showed he had the speed and racercraft to compete at the sharp end of the grid, even with these challenges. One of the key dynamics of Leclerc's first season with Ferrari was his relationship with Sebastian Vettel, a seasoned veteran and the established leader of the team. From the outset, it was clear that Leclerc was not willing to settle into a supportive role behind Vettel. This became evident as early as the Bahrain Grand Prix, where Leclerc started on pole and looked set to claim his maiden victory before a mechanical failure dropped him to third place. Throughout the 2019 season, Leclerc and Vettel were closely matched. However, it was Leclerc's ability to consistently outperform Vettel in qualifying that caught the attention of the paddock. Leclerc secured an impressive 7 pole positions that season, more than any other driver, including the dominant Mercedes duo of Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. The battle between Leclerc and Vettel, at times, created tension within the team, particularly during strategic decisions in races. Their rivalry came to a head at the Brazilian Grand Prix, where a collision between the two ended both their races and heightened the internal competition. Despite the tension, Leclerc's raw pace often saw him emerge as Ferrari's leading driver. By the end of the season, he had finished ahead of Vettel in the championship standings, an impressive feat for a second-year driver up against a 4-time world champion. Leclerc's defining moment came in the second half of the 2019 season. At the Belgian Grand Prix in Spa, Leclerc secured his first-ever Formula One victory. This win was emotionally charged, as it came just a day after the tragic death of his friend, Antoine Hubert, during the Formula 2 feature race. Leclerc dedicated the win to Hubert, and the victory marked a turning point in his career, proving that he could win at the highest level. 1 week later, Leclerc delivered what is arguably his most significant victory to date, winning the Italian Grand Prix at Ferrari's home circuit, Monza. The win at Monza was Ferrari's first at their home race since 2010, and it instantly catapulted Leclerc into the hearts of the Tifosi, Ferrari's passionate fanbase. His defensive driving against the Mercedes duo, particularly against Lewis Hamilton, was remarkable and showcased his racecraft under pressure. The sight of Leclerc standing on top of the podium, draped in the Ferrari flag, solidified his place as a rising star and a potential future champion. Leclerc's 2019 season ended with 2 victories, multiple podiums, and an impressive 4th place in the championship standings, ahead of his teammate Vettel. His ability to compete at the front of the grid, his qualifying dominance, and his poise under pressure had Ferrari fans and the wider F1 community viewing him as the team's future. His first season with Ferrari wasn't just successful, it was transformative, both for Leclerc and for Ferrari, signaling a shift towards the future. In a single year, Charles Leclerc went from being a promising rookie to one of Formula One's most exciting talents. His victories in Belgium and Italy, his rivalry with Vettel, and his ability to shoulder the immense pressure of racing for Ferrari marked him as a future championship contender. The 2019 Formula One season marked the beginning of a captivating internal rivalry at Ferrari between the seasoned Sebastian Vettel, a 4-time world champion, and the rising star, Charles Leclerc. The dynamic between the two drivers became one of the central narratives of that season, as Leclerc's rapid progression and standout performances began to challenge Vettel's long-held status as the team leader. This internal competition brought both emotional and psychological complexity to Ferrari, as the team grappled with managing the balance between their experienced veteran and their emerging young talent. From the outset of the 2019 season, it was clear that Charles Leclerc was not going to play a secondary role to Vettel. Despite Vettel's stature and history with Ferrari, Leclerc demonstrated an exceptional ability to qualify ahead of Vettel, securing 7 pole positions over the course of the season, the most of any driver that year. His natural speed and aggressive racecraft often put him in direct contention with Vettel on track, leading to tense moments both in qualifying and during races. The Bahrain Grand Prix was an early sign of this shifting dynamic. Leclerc, in only his second race for Ferrari, secured pole position and looked set to claim his maiden victory before a mechanical issue dropped him to third. Though Vettel had more victories under his belt, Leclerc's performance pushed him into the spotlight, and many began to question whether the torch was already being passed within Ferrari. As the season progressed, Leclerc's growing consistency and ability to extract the maximum from the car began to wear on Vettel. For a driver of Vettel's caliber and experience, being outperformed by a teammate, especially one so young, presented both a competitive and psychological challenge. Vettel, known for his meticulous attention to detail and confidence as a leader, found himself in unfamiliar territory, often finishing behind his less experienced teammate. The internal rivalry came to a head in several key moments throughout the season, where Leclerc's assertive driving style and Vettel's desire to reassert his authority created significant tension. One of the first clear examples of this was at the Italian Grand Prix. While Leclerc went on to win Ferrari's home race, Vettel, struggling to keep pace, spun out early in the race and later collided with Lance Stroll. This stark contrast between the two drivers highlighted Leclerc's momentum and Vettel's mounting frustrations. At several points, Ferrari's team orders added to the growing tension. Early in the season, Ferrari attempted to favor Vettel, given his seniority and championship pedigree, often instructing Leclerc to hold position behind him. However, Leclerc's performances made it increasingly difficult for the team to justify such decisions. By mid-season, it became clear that Ferrari had to allow the two drivers to race more freely, but this only increased the rivalry on track. One of the most dramatic moments occurred at the Brazilian Grand Prix, where the rivalry escalated into a direct confrontation. Late in the race, the two collided while battling for position, ending both their races and leaving Ferrari with no points from the event. The crash was a boiling point for the team, forcing Ferrari to address the tensions publicly. Both drivers downplayed the incident after the race, but the clash underscored how intense the internal competition had become. Ferrari's management found itself in a difficult position throughout 2019. The team had traditionally operated with a clear number one and number two driver, favoring one over the other to maximize their chances in the championship. However, with Leclerc and Vettel, the team struggled to manage the balance between supporting their young drivers' rise while also maintaining their commitment to Vettel. Team principal Mattia Binotto often had to mediate between the two drivers, especially as it became clear that Leclerc was consistently outperforming Vettel. Ferrari's approach shifted as the season progressed, with Leclerc being given more freedom to race on equal terms with Vettel. However, this only heightened the internal rivalry, with each driver determined to assert dominance. For Vettel, the rivalry took an emotional toll. Having been Ferrari's star driver since 2015 and the leader of the team's push to return to championship-winning form, Vettel found himself increasingly isolated. His on-track errors, such as the spin in Monza and the collision in Brazil, pointed to a driver under immense pressure, struggling to maintain control of a situation that was slipping away from him. Vettel, who had thrived on confidence and a clear leadership role, was now forced to confront a reality where his young teammate was often outperforming him. For Leclerc, the rivalry sharpened his focus and competitive edge. Though he entered Ferrari as the junior driver, Leclerc's consistent performances quickly elevated his status within the team. Psychologically, Leclerc had to navigate the pressure of not only competing against a world champion but also living up to Ferrari's immense expectations. His calm, confident demeanor, particularly during critical moments like his wins in Belgium and Italy, showed that he was not just fast but also mentally tough, qualities necessary to succeed at Ferrari. The rivalry between Leclerc and Vettel significantly shaped both of their careers. For Leclerc, it marked his arrival as a serious contender in Formula One and solidified his place as Ferrari's future. His ability to compete against and sometimes outshine a four-time world champion in his first season at Ferrari was a testament to his skill and maturity. For Vettel, the rivalry led to a period of reflection. By the end of 2020, it was clear that Ferrari had chosen to build their future around Leclerc, leading Vettel to leave the team for Aston Martin. The rivalry forced Vettel to confront the limitations of his own performance and adapt to a new phase of his career. In the end, the internal battle between Leclerc and Vettel was not just about speed on the track but about the shifting balance of power within Ferrari, a story of a young star rising and a champion navigating the twilight of his time with the team. The 2020 Formula One season was one of the most challenging periods for Ferrari, and particularly for Charles Leclerc, who found himself in a car far less competitive than expected. After the highs of 2019, where he won races and emerged as a top driver, the dramatic downturn in Ferrari's performance in 2020 tested his emotional resilience and determination. The SF1000 car was plagued by an underpowered engine and poor aerodynamic efficiency, resulting from technical directives issued by the FIA in response to Ferrari's controversial 2019 engine. This left the team struggling to keep up with the midfield, let alone fight for podiums and victories. The SF1000 proved to be uncompetitive from the very first race in Austria. Ferrari's performance deficit was most evident in straight-line speed, where they lost significant ground compared to rival teams like Mercedes, Red Bull, and even midfield competitors like McLaren and Racing Point. This marked a sharp decline for a team that had been fighting for championships just a year earlier. Ferrari's power unit, which had been the subject of controversy in 2019, was significantly weaker after new FIA regulations, and the car's handling and aerodynamics compounded the issues, making it difficult for both Leclerc and his teammate Sebastian Vettel to extract performance. Despite the frustrating circumstances, Leclerc demonstrated remarkable emotional resilience throughout the season. For a young driver with only 2 full seasons under his belt, handling the weight of Ferrari's expectations during such a tough period was a significant challenge. Leclerc had already shown in 2019 that he could compete at the front, but in 2020, he was forced to recalibrate his expectations and shift his focus from fighting for wins to salvaging as many points as possible. Leclerc's ability to consistently outperform the car became one of the key storylines of Ferrari's season. While Vettel struggled with the car and often languished outside the points, Leclerc delivered several standout performances. His second-place finish at the Austrian Grand Prix on the season's opening weekend was a remarkable result, considering Ferrari's lack of pace. It showcased his ability to capitalize on opportunities, a trait that would help him throughout the season. Similarly, his third-place finish at the British Grand Prix was another example of his ability to drag the car into positions it had no right to be in. However, there were also moments of frustration. The Styrian Grand Prix, the second race of the season, saw Leclerc make an overambitious move on Vettel at the start, leading to a collision that ended both their races. This incident highlighted the pressure Leclerc was under to maximize every opportunity, but it also showed his willingness to admit mistakes and learn from them, as he immediately took responsibility for the crash. Leclerc's attitude throughout the 2020 season was one of relentless determination. Despite the team's struggles, he remained committed to pushing Ferrari forward and playing a key role in their recovery. He often spoke about the importance of the long-term project at Ferrari and how he was willing to endure the tough times in order to build a stronger foundation for future success. His relationship with the team grew stronger as he worked closely with Ferrari's engineers to improve the car's performance, even though there was little hope of significant improvements during the season. Leclerc's feedback and leadership, despite his young age, were crucial for the team's morale and development. Ferrari's internal struggles, including the announced departure of Sebastian Vettel at the end of the season, left Leclerc as the clear future of the team. His maturity, both on and off the track, impressed team principal Mattia Binotto, who often praised Leclerc's leadership and dedication during such a difficult time. This season solidified Leclerc's role as Ferrari's cornerstone, with the team betting on his talent and resilience to lead them back to the front of the grid. Although the 2020 season was devoid of podiums after the early rounds and filled with frustration, it was also a season of growth for Leclerc. His ability to extract every bit of performance from the car, coupled with his calm under pressure, solidified his reputation as one of the top drivers on the grid. While Ferrari finished a lowly 6th in the Constructors' Championship, Leclerc's performances showed that he was capable of fighting for championships once Ferrari could provide him with a competitive car. In summary, 2020 was a season that tested Charles Leclerc's emotional and mental strength to its limits. Despite the lack of a competitive car, he displayed determination, maturity, and leadership, traits that would be crucial for Ferrari's rebuilding phase. His performances, even in the face of adversity, underscored his potential to become a future world champion. The 2022 Formula One season saw Charles Leclerc emerge as a genuine title contender for the first time in his career, going head-to-head with reigning world champion Max Verstappen. Ferrari returned to form after 2 challenging seasons, giving Leclerc a car capable of competing for victories. However, the season would be one of dramatic highs and frustrating lows, as Leclerc's campaign was marred by strategic missteps and mechanical failures, preventing him from fully capitalizing on his early dominance. Leclerc began the 2022 season in spectacular fashion, immediately establishing himself as a favorite for the championship. The Ferrari F1-75 proved to be fast, reliable, and competitive from the outset, with Leclerc taking a commanding victory at the season opener in Bahrain. His early form was bolstered by a win in Australia, where he dominated the race and left no doubt about his title credentials. At this stage, Leclerc led the championship and seemed poised to carry Ferrari back to championship glory. His early season performances were marked by not only his raw pace, but also his strategic thinking and consistency. In several races, such as the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Leclerc engaged in thrilling battles with Verstappen, showcasing his ability to race aggressively but intelligently, often coming out on top in wheel-to-wheel fights. The rivalry with Verstappen added a new dimension to the season, as the two drivers frequently pushed each other to the limit. However, the bright start to Leclerc's campaign soon gave way to a series of setbacks that would derail his title challenge. Ferrari's strategic errors became a recurring theme, with decisions made during races often costing Leclerc valuable points. One of the most notable instances was at the Monaco Grand Prix, where Leclerc looked set for a home victory. Ferrari's pit strategy, however, turned what should have been a certain win into a disappointing fourth-place finish, a devastating blow for Leclerc at his home race. Mechanical reliability also played a major role in Leclerc's struggles. At the Spanish Grand Prix, Leclerc was leading comfortably when his engine failed, forcing him to retire from a race that seemed certain to add to his win tally. Similarly, at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, another engine failure while leading further dented his championship hopes. These reliability issues contrasted starkly with Verstappen's Red Bull, which seemed bulletproof, allowing the Dutchman to capitalize on every opportunity. Leclerc's frustration was palpable at times, but despite the setbacks, he remained composed and focused on the larger picture. His ability to keep pushing through the challenges spoke volumes about his growing maturity and resilience as a driver. The 2022 season was defined by Leclerc's intense rivalry with Max Verstappen, with the two frequently finding themselves at the front of the grid. Their battle was fierce but respectful, a throwback to the days of classic F1 rivalries. Leclerc's early advantage in the championship was eroded by Verstappen's consistency, but the two drivers continued to push each other throughout the year. One of the highlights of their rivalry came at the Austrian Grand Prix, where Leclerc outpaced Verstappen to take a crucial win, keeping his title hopes alive. This victory was a testament to Leclerc's ability to bounce back after a series of difficult races, showcasing his resilience in the face of adversity. However, as the season progressed, it became clear that Ferrari's strategic mistakes and reliability issues were proving too much to overcome. Verstappen's consistency and Red Bull's superior race execution allowed him to pull away in the standings, and Leclerc's title challenge began to fade. While the 2022 season ended in disappointment for Leclerc, it was also a period of significant personal and professional growth. Leclerc's ability to handle the pressure of a title fight, combined with his growing influence within Ferrari, marked him as a leader both on and off the track. As the season wore on, Leclerc's feedback and determination to improve the team's performance became a key focus for Ferrari. Despite the frustration of missed opportunities, Leclerc consistently praised the team while also holding them accountable for their errors. His calm, measured demeanor, even after devastating setbacks, showed a maturity beyond his years, and his relationship with team principal Mattia Binotto evolved as the season progressed. Leclerc's leadership was crucial in keeping Ferrari motivated and focused on the long-term goal of returning to championship-winning form. In the end, Charles Leclerc finished the 2022 season in second place, behind Verstappen, but the year was a defining one for his career. While Ferrari's shortcomings denied him a realistic shot at the title, Leclerc emerged as a driver capable of leading a top team and fighting for championships. His performances in the early races and his ability to maintain his composure through the season's low points proved that he had the mental toughness and skill to contend at the highest level. For Leclerc, 2022 was not just about what he lost, but what he learned, lessons that would undoubtedly fuel his future title campaigns. As Charles Leclerc looks to the future, his goal is clear: to become Formula One world champion. Having already proven himself as one of the sport's most talented and consistent drivers, Leclerc now finds himself on the brink of championship glory. with his journey thus far positioning him as a leading contender for future titles. Despite the ups and downs of his career, Leclerc's persistence, skill, and mental toughness have set the stage for what could be a defining era in Formula One. Leclerc's ambition is to secure a world title, a dream he has pursued since his childhood, inspired by his father and his godfather, Jules Bianchi. Throughout his journey, Leclerc has shown he possesses the raw talent to challenge for the championship. His early dominance in Formula 2 and his immediate impact in Formula 1, especially with Ferrari, proved that he has the capability to compete at the highest level. In 2022, his strong start to the season showed that when given a competitive car, Leclerc could go toe-to-toe with the best, including Max Verstappen, who has become the benchmark in recent years. Leclerc's technical feedback, racekraft, and his growing influence within Ferrari are invaluable assets that could be the key to achieving his championship dreams. His experience, both through his successes and failures, has molded him into a driver who understands not only how to win but also how to rebuild from setbacks, making him a stronger and more focused competitor. For Leclerc to realize his championship ambitions, much of the responsibility lies with Ferrari. The Scuderia's success going forward will depend on several factors, including the development of a more reliable and consistently competitive car, strategic refinement, and flawless execution during race weekends. Ferrari's 2022 resurgence, although ultimately unsuccessful in delivering a title, showed that the team is capable of producing a strong car. However, it also highlighted the weaknesses in race strategy and reliability that have plagued the team's title bids in recent years. Leclerc's leadership within Ferrari will be pivotal to their future success. His calm but assertive demeanor, combined with his technical understanding, can drive the team forward. He has already demonstrated his ability to motivate and push Ferrari to greater heights, as seen during the difficult 2020 and 2021 seasons when he carried the team through a performance slump. As Ferrari continues to evolve, Leclerc's feedback and determination will play a crucial role in shaping the cars and strategies that could take them back to championship-winning form. Charles Leclerc's legacy is already shaping up to be one of perseverance, resilience, and undeniable talent. In a sport that demands excellence at every level, Leclerc has proven time and again that he belongs among the elite drivers. His early triumphs, including his victories in Monza and Spa, etched his name into Ferrari's storied history. Yet, his true greatness will likely be measured by his ability to lead Ferrari to their first Drivers' Championship since 2007. Leclerc's career so far has also made him a fan favorite. His humility, combined with his aggressive and skillful driving style, has earned him widespread admiration. He represents a new generation of drivers who are willing to push the boundaries of the sport while maintaining a strong connection with the fans and their teams. Leclerc's future hinges on several key factors: Ferrari's ability to deliver a consistently competitive car, the refinement of the team's race operations, and his continued growth as a leader. If these elements come together, Leclerc could be on the verge of achieving the Formula One World Championship he so desires. Looking forward, Leclerc has the potential to join the pantheon of Ferrari greats such as Michael Schumacher and Niki Lauda, drivers who not only won titles but became synonymous with the Scuderia's success. His career trajectory suggests that he is capable of fulfilling this promise, and the 2024 season and beyond will likely be decisive in determining whether Leclerc can transform his immense potential into championship glory. In conclusion, Charles Leclerc's story is one of a young man whose journey through tragedy, perseverance, and sheer talent has brought him to the cusp of greatness. As he continues to evolve as a driver and leader, his legacy as one of the most talented drivers of his generation is already taking shape, and with Ferrari behind him, his quest for a world title is very much within reach.